Today it's Warrington with their dramatic support play against Oldham, the Giant Killers. Oldham no strangers to the Lancashire Cup, 9 times winners, 1958, and they last took the trophy. It's been a while. Warrington, there we are, have won it 8 times. Their last victory was more recent, 7 years ago. Remember though, Oldham beat Wigan in dramatic style in the semi-final. Warrington disposed of Widnes at the same stage.
There's nothing new about cup upsets, but second division Oldham have beaten first division opponents every step of the way to the Lancashire Cup final. 9 tries against Barrow in round 1, 6 tries against St Helens in round 2, 2 of them real beauties. In the semi-final, Oldham broke Wigan's 4-year hold on the County Cup. The winning kick just 5 minutes from time by Gary Hyde. Warrington have made quieter progress to the final. Second division Swinton were their first victims. Next, they travelled to the Willows to intercept Salford's bid to return to the final. Then last Tuesday, an inspired display to see off the game's Cup Kings, Widnes.
Yes, some big-name teams have fallen by the wayside in this year's competition. We'll be meeting Phil Lauder later. Now, Phil's been providing us with a unique insight into the match action with detailed computer analysis, giving the performance of players and teams. But first, let me introduce you to our co-commentator this afternoon and the head coach, Brian Smith. Brian, let's get straight into the action. The teams today. Oldham first. Who impresses you there?
Well, I think John Cogger's the man in the Oldham team. He's a player who Oldham will really be looking to control the rucks. He's a player with a lot of cunning. He'll be trying to run the whole game.
An Aussie too, of course.
Another Aussie, yes.
Is he an inspirational figure?
I think he's the lifeblood of the team. He's the real pulse in the team.
Of course, Oldham too have got plenty of experience as well. John Fieldhouse, a name that springs to mind.
Yes, ironically, it was 4 years ago when New Zealand last toured that John Fieldhouse made his way into the Great Britain team. He's a player Tony Barrow obviously fancies. He's taken him across to Oldham. He's a player who carries the ball forward well, although at times he tends to get a bit sideways.
Has he a point to prove on this big stage today?
Well, being an ex-Warrington player via St Helens, I'm sure he'll get a hot reception.
OK, what about Warrington? They've been very much the team of this season, and that's the way they're playing as a team, isn't it?
It is indeed, and that's a credit to Brian Johnson, their coach. I think he's got a very manageable squad, and he's now got a player who can control the game for him in Greg Mackey.
Tell me a bit more about Greg Mackey, because he looks like he's got a new contract.
I think Greg's the informed player in the country at the moment. Warrington are the informed team, and he's the one who's taking them forward, kicking the ball, adding direction, and to add to all that, as an individual, he's got a lot of zip. He can take off and leave players standing. OK, well, Brian will be our co-commentator for the match, but 5 minutes to kick off. The nerves end straining now. Clive Tilsley is down in the dressing room area with Tony Barrow.
You're happier in your work at Oldham?
Very happy, very happy. I've never been as happy in my life. I've got the best team I could wish to have. They're a great gang of lads, and We're all just keyed up now, ready to go out there and bring this cup back to Oldham.
For all the First Division teams you've beaten, you are a Second Division team. Are you ready for the First Division leaders?
We're ready for anybody. I don't think there's a team, First Division or Second Division, that can beat us when we're on top form, and at the present time we're on top form.
Have they surprised you by reaching the final?
No, they haven't surprised me one bit. I think they can go even better than this.
What do you think about your first cup final, Greg?
Well, pretty nervous. I know it's going to be a hard game, but I'm confident that we can win if we play up to our best.
Did you know you could make this sort of impact on the British game?
I always had confidence in my own ability. I suppose it helps when you've got 12 other players that are equally confident, equally as talented, and certainly work hard enough.
Because you had a pretty traumatic summer in Australia, didn't you?
Oh yeah, things didn't go my way, so I was looking towards a change, and a change for the better, and so far with the Lancashire Cup final game today, things are working out quite well.
Well, could Greg Mackey be the key man today? Time now to join the National Director of Rugby League Coaching, Phil Larder, who's got some interesting analysis on the Warrington against Widnes semi-final on Tuesday. Phil?
Yes, it was only 10 days ago, Rob, that Widnes were crowned world champions in the best team performance that I'd ever seen, and everyone leaving Old Trafford was asking them who was going to beat them this season. So what happened in the semi-final? Quite simply, Widnes made far too many handling errors. Warrington controlled the ball superbly, particularly in their own half. They kicked for position and chased well, then pressurised Widnes with an enthusiastic, committed and superbly organised defence. Widnes, through arrogance, complacency or simply overconfidence, passed in impossible positions and made 21 handling errors to Warrington's 6. The result was that for 3/4 of the game, Widnes were chasing and tackling. The simple fact is that you cannot win rugby league matches without control of the ball.
Thanks very much, Phil. Well, it's the moment of truth. Time to join your commentary team this afternoon, Clive Tilsley and Brian Smith.
Thank you, Rob. Both teams have come through their semi-final adventures unscathed. Oldham, nervous moments for them. A new experience for most of their players, but after those memorable victories over 3 First Division teams en route to this final, then clearly they come here with every bit as much confidence as the unbeaten First Division leaders, Warrington, their opponents today. The Oldham lineup is the one that beat Wigan 9 days ago. Mike Ford, John Fieldhouse and Sean Allen have all played in Lancashire Cup finals for previous clubs. Number 3, Gary Hyde, the semi-final hero, has figured in 5 Yorkshire Cup finals with Castleford. The Warrington fullback today is David Lyon. He's recovered from a stomach strain that kept him out of the semi-final and plays there at number 1. Tony Thornley, number 4, scored 2 tries against Widnes in that match. He's the leading try scorer in the final. He's got 7 already this season. It's not the first time that they've met in the County Cup competition, and certainly Warrington have a hold over Oldham in their previous Lancashire Cup meetings. They've won 13 of the previous 14 matches that the two have played in this competition, including the 1922 final, which was played at Broughton. Paul Cullen scored a hat-trick for Warrington in the last meeting in 1987, one of several fine players in both squads who's not available through injury today. Marvellous atmosphere building. We've had all kinds of weather in St Helens today. Mike Gregory enjoying the sunshine, Brian Johnson his coach, Rocky Turner the semi-final man of the match, big Tony Burke there who played here of course for St Helens, Bob Jackson, bit of a folk hero these days in Warrington, Gary Sanderson so underrated. There's young Steve Malloy and Greg Mackey, very much the man of the moment. A lot of speculation that he'll be at Warrington to stay. The Wire currently negotiating with his Australian club Canterbury, a deal which is likely to be worth £12,000. Desi Drummond played for Lee in a Lancashire Cup final. And they're the Oldham fans who are really enjoying this exhilarating run to the Cup final. Great spirit within the Warrington camp these days. I was talking to their coach, Clive Griffiths, in the week, and he feels that it all came together for them during their summer visit to Milwaukee in the USA, where they played an exhibition game against Wigan. Each player was issued with a training booklet to see him through the remainder of the summer. Pre-season training was stepped up. Oldham to a far more professional approach since Tony Barrow joined them. There's Rocky Turner, who is on the verge of matching Jonathan Davis as the game's leading goal kicker. He needs just 5 more today to draw level with Davis. Terrific reception for the Oldham team. Still not at full strength. They're without John Henderson, their talented centre, without Paul Round, the former St Helens player from the pack, and a great tribute to them that they've got this far. Big day for Rocky Turner. Had a difficult time against Brian Smith's Hull last Sunday, but showed his maturity with a marvellous performance, marvellously controlled performance against Widnes in the semi. Man in charge today is Ray Tennant, as he was at Wembley last May, and as indeed he was for the 3 tests during the summer between New Zealand and Australia in New Zealand, one of the game's senior officials. Mike Gregory, the Warrington captain, Great Britain captain, well, maybe. He'll know next Thursday when the team is picked. Facing him today, the Australian John Cogger. Wind will be an important factor today. It's blowing from left to right as you look at it, and it's Oldham who have the benefit of the wind in the first half. Brian Smith has joined me in the commentary position, and Oldham will feel that their major ploy is to make the use of the wind in the first half and establish a lead.
Yes, I think Duncan Platt will be the player left-footed who kicks the ball, and obviously it'll be up to Warrington to put pressure on that so that they can negate the kick.
Rocky Turner gets us underway. I recall thinking to myself when I saw the semi-final draw that at least Widnes and Wigan had been kept apart. Well, they're still apart. Warrington and Oldham have surprised everyone but themselves by making it to this final. And Oldham in possession with their outstanding up-front forward, Leo Casey. Tony Barrow, the coach, has a love affair with this young man. He thinks he's going to go all the way to Great Britain honours. Platt to kick. David Lyon, who's made a miraculous recovery from a stomach muscle injury to play today, getting his first touch. Tackled by young Paul Lord. Tony Burke. Steve Malloy taking the second ball. Bob Jackson. 3 great drives by Warrington. Mackie. Tony Thornley tackle. Touch judge flag up. Don Barrett, the official. And Oldham penalised. John Cogger, the captain, just checking.
I think that Oldham have recognised that they need to put a lot of pressure on Mackie, but maybe a little bit after the ball was passed there.
So the first big examination of the Oldham defence. Burke again. Here is Mackie. Malloy. Good tackles by Newton and Allen. Mackie, Gregory. Again, terrific tackle by Leo Casey, low down. Here's Bob Jackson again. Fieldhouse and Ruane doing the necessary. Warrington very close. Turner. Mackie. Good ball, Sanderson wide. Mackie trying the short side, a little kick. He was knocked over after he played it, but it ran dead.
I think the biggest fear for Warrington today is perhaps that they now have to do what Widnes did last week, and that's overcome a big game. Early indications are that they're going to do that. They look as if they're very enthusiastic about this game.
Yes, 9 days have passed since Oldham's semi-final success. They're able to rest half a dozen players against bottom of the table Runcorn last Sunday. And this is Warrington's third tough match of the week. They're a bit disappointed not to have got a fixture against the New Zealand tourist Warrington this season, but it may just be a blessing in disguise for them in the long run. Burke again. He's a marvellously uncomplicated footballer, Tony Burke. He picks it up, he runs straight, he never loses the ball, and when one of his colleagues loses the ball and it starts to come the other way, he just tackles. He's a yardage machine, is Burke. Mackie involved in everything. Fieldhouse's tackle, the fifth of the drive. Rocky Turner to kick. It's right back into the hands of Des Drummond. It's got real pace. It's Drummond. One to beat, and one's enough. Great tackle by Duncan Platt. Drummond in touch.
Feature of Warrington's play so far is the fact that they're controlling the ball well. That's 2 complete sets of 6 they played out without any errors.
It's something they did magnificently well in the semi-final against Widnes. John Fieldhouse. Ruane the hookup. It's a good kick. Tony Barrow, the coach, was drawing my attention during the week to the fact that Ruane is a surprisingly good kicker for a hooker. And he's relieved the pressure on his team's line there, and he has some hooking to do now. Mark Roskell is his opposite number for Warrington. And he's won it.
Cogger just letting Greg Mackie know that he's there and thereabouts at the scrum base.
Little Australian reunion. Mackie has the ball though. 5 minutes gone, no score. Live Rugby League from St Helens, the Brunhalla Lancashire Cup final. Warrington the favourites in possession and doing the early pressing. Sanderson. Mackie. Turner. Asks a lot of Tony Thornley. It's an awkward one though for Duncan Platt, and he'll want to try and run the ball out of his in-goal area, and he's not going to be allowed. Great chase by Warrington. Be a drop out from beneath the post, and Warrington will have possession back.
It's a lopsided possession count at this stage, and that's a result of Warrington's coordinated and controlled attack.
And here's the mainspring of that attack, Greg Mackie. Mark Forster wanting to get in the action. Tackled by Gary Hyde, the Oldham semi-final hero. Burke again. Steve Malloy. Got his chance with the injury to Mark Thomas. Turn it to Gregory. Oh, he's broken clear. Joe Rapalti in his shoulder, and Joe Rapalti scores for Warrington. First blood to the wire. A try set up by their inspirational captain Mike Gregory, and finished off by Joe Rapalti. And it's been coming.
Well, it had to come, Clive. The control and the coordination was there, and eventually the power and the support was there as well. Rapalti on the spot again.
Scored in 3 matches in a row now, Joe Rapalti.
There's some feeble defence here from Oldham, but it's a power play. Look at Gregory. The ball was under control all the way.
Rocky Turner then to try to improve the try from beneath the post. And Warrington lead by 6 points to 0. And Oldham have not started. So much for the wind advantage. Turner's 35th goal of the season, just 4 behind Jonathan Davis now in the league's goal-kicking lists. Thornley. Forster. Burke again. Well, a Lancashire Cup final medal with St Helens in '84, Tony Burke. He'll have felt that from John Cogger. He did have a bit of a roughhouse reputation in his Runcorn days. He's got it under control a bit. Sort of fellow who might just start World War III one day.
He enjoyed the same reputation in Australia, but I think Johnny Cogger's had that under control since he's been playing at Oldham, and I think his coach will be very disappointed with that. Warrington back on attack now.
Warrington well on top. Mackie ran straight into Leo Casey that time. Sanderson, Gregory through the gap again. Rapati's there once more. Thornley's there. Forster's there. Marvellous Warrington try. Mark Forster finishes it on. But a try that belonged to the whole Warrington team. They're running riot.
It takes confidence to do this. When the player carries the ball, he looks to the side, he knows there's a player in support. Twice that movement's dead, and in the end, there's oodles of support. Plenty of it there.
Born again winger Mark Forster. Scored only 5 tries last year. That's his 3rd of this. And that's finishing. But Tony Thornley, who had such a big part to play in the semi-final, again straightening that move magnificently for his winger.
They're the sorts of passes that wingers dream about, Clive.
And the sort of start that Warrington must have dreamt about. Brilliant. 10 minutes gone. Warrington lead by 12 points to 0. They've dominated possession, as I'm sure Phil Larder will now confirm. There are the time in possession figures. 4 minutes Warrington have had it, Oldham less than a minute. Deafening atmosphere inside Knowsley Road. The voices belong to the fans of Warrington, and here's Forster again. He could go the whole length. Tackled by Mike Ford. Tony Burke. Jackson. Turner again. Gregory. Thornley. Richard Irving hanging on. And the ball went forward there. Oh, Warrington penalised. Player wasn't. Player was still on his knee when he played the ball.
An incorrect play of the ball, that's correct.
These are 2 of the form teams in rugby league. Only Warrington and 2nd Division Halifax are still unbeaten this season. And indeed, Halifax are the only team to have beaten Oldham, who with 5 successive victories coming into this match have the longest winning streak in the British game at the moment. But it's under severe threat from this explosive Warrington start. Loose one from Brett Clark. Not what Gary Hyde wanted. Did well. John Cogger trying to sort it out. He'll go on from acting half-back a lot. Warrington will have to keep an eye on him. Andy Rouet. Ford kicking. That's a useful one too. It's made David Lyon chase back towards his own line. And a good chase. And a foothold in the game for 2nd Division Oldham.
This is where Oldham really need to come to life now. They must force an error here, or force a not so strong kick so that they can get back in attack.
Malloy almost to the 25 though.
There's a touch judge's decision there to tell us that there was a little knock on in the play of the ball. Not sure that Mr. Tennant saw any of that action.
Oldham put in and head. Flat in the line. Ruane. Sean Allen. Familiar surroundings for Sean, former St Helens player. Leo Casey. Fieldhouse bursting onto the ball. Clark with some space. Just couldn't get below the ball when he needed. And it went loose, knocked forward. Shame that, if he had the right support, Oldham might have been able to reply.
And there's the difference on the scoreboard. You said it. The difference in support is the difference in the scoreboard.
And Warrington have it back. Desi Drummond. It's like a rubber ball, it just bounces off you. Here's Burke again. Oh, well done, Sanderson. Gregory again. I think the decision on the Great Britain captaincy may just depend on the fitness of his namesake, Andrew. Both great leaders. Lyon. Duncan Platt. Offside. Des Drummond. It's easier said than done, but what Oldham have got to do now is get those 12 points out of their mind and start again. It's like being caught by a couple of punches when you're cold in the first round of a contest. And you've got to hope that you can score steadily during the fight and end up on top. Forward. Chance maybe for Keith Newton. Loves to run wide. Andy Ruane. Brett Clark. Platt. Good tackling. Rocky Turner. Clark nowhere to go. We're all a bit disorganised at the moment. Mike Ford tackle is the fifth. Clark again. Rubber kick blocked by Bob Jackson, collected by Bob Jackson.
Great reaction from Bob Jackson as well.
It's a very fetching headband there that Mark Ross was wearing. Matching. Was a day when all a hooker wore were a couple of cauliflower ears. Malloy, all beautifully unloaded there to Greg Mackey. They'll be wearing these bandanas next that John McEnroe sports.
And there's another fifth tackle kick. Warrington are really controlling the ball well.
Well caught though by Lord. Good run too. Got real pace this lad. But again, there's no real structure or shape about Oldham. It's one pass at a time. The man in possession's always getting it in a stationary position, and they need some leadership out there at the moment. This is Richard Irving. He's an elusive runner if he gets space. Ford. That's a good kick. Mike Ford, man of the match in the 86 final when he was a Wigan player against, yes, Oldham. Everett. Ray Tennant doing his darndest with these scrums. Jackson. He's real folk hero material, is Bob Jackson. I was sat behind the Lancashire cricketer Neil Fairbrother at the semi-final on Tuesday. He's a big Warrington fan. Bob Jackson's his hero. Who's there with Allett and Atherton and David Hughes, the county captain, and they're all here again today. Now Richard Irving. It's a leg chase. Mackey's across. Might fall for Irving. Was he impeded? Oh, he scored, has he? Referee says no.
No, the touch judge said no. Mr. Tennant wasn't there when the decision was made. It was the touch judge who made the decision from the far side.
I think Richard Irving was impeded here. There.
That's a penalty try. I'll go along with you.
And I do also believe that Paul Lord might have been first to the loose ball.
I'll go along with you again. That won't happen too often, by the way.
Well, at least Oldham have got an excuse now. Something to build on for the second division team. Gary High. Ford. Allen. Oh, and he can get a pass out if he has a teammate there. Oldham are looking a lot livelier all of a sudden. Clark. Newton. Fifth tackle though. They need some points. John Fieldhouse. No, he was impeded. The referee saw that all right. Penalty. And a chance for Duncan Platt to at least reduce the deficit. Very important that Oldham went back with something there, Brian.
It is indeed. The points will give them some confidence, and as you said, so will that series of plays there where they did come to life. I think it's not so much enthusiasm, it's some organisation that Oldham need. They seem devoid of it completely.
Platt successful. And the Warrington lead is cut to 10. They call him Lord Platt because of his rather stately air. Former witness player. Brother Andy is in the Great Britain squad. Steve Robinson. Keith Newton. Cogger. Good break. Needs support again. He's got it from Robinson. Cogger was taken out there after the pass. Ruane. Clark. Platt. They're finding a way through, and if the pass had been better, Paul Lord might have been in. Richard Irving still not dead. Ford. I think Oldham felt that it was a 10 past 3 kickoff. Fieldhouse. Good tackle by Jackson though. Ruane tried a drop goal. It was a poor one.
I think they might have a bit of trouble seeing the scoreboard too. I mean, a shot at a field goal when you're 10 points behind after 20 minutes is absolutely crazy.
Yes, they've done one or two desperate things in the opening quarter, Oldham. They do need to just settle down and play the football which has taken them to the final. But Warrington made such a blistering start with those tries from Ropati and Forster. And here's Malloy, blistering forward. And That Lion who can always kick you back towards your own line.
That's great percentage play. Under pressure just a few seconds ago, take 3 plays up the centre, good drives, and then the kicker positions himself perfectly to put the pressure now on Oldham.
Just under 17 minutes of the first half remaining. Mike Ford. Platt again. Cogger. Little Ford in your side, isn't he, John Cogger? Richard Irving. Good tackle by Tony Burke. He put in 19 in the first half alone against Widnes in the semi-final on Tuesday, did Burke. Amazing work. Well, that's bounced in. What a kick. I think Mark Foster, like I, felt that it was going to drift out on the wing.
The game of chess continues here, Clive, with Oldham now putting the pressure back on via a very good kick.
Yeah, so we've seen some good field kicking from both sides. On a difficult day for kicking. Back into his own feet. Oldham penalty. Or a free kick, I should say. All scrum offences other than foul play are what they call a differential penalty, which means that you can't kick a goal. Big moment for Oldham, this. Oh, and Leo Casey spilled it. Just what they didn't want to do. First tackle and they've given the ball back. Tony Burke won't do that. Such a talented young prop forward, Casey, but he is young.
Whatever confidence Oldham just built, they just went straight out the window with 2 pieces of play by their front rowers. First an error by Casey in attack on first tackle, and then a push when they got them boxed in defence. The hardest position on the field to get out of, except via a penalty kick like that.
Steve Malloy. Jackson. Gary Sanderson. Gregory. Saw him laying down the law there to the men around him before that penalty. Rugby League live from St Helens, the Lancashire Cup final. Warrington having caught Oldham cold in the opening stages, establishing a 12-point lead. It's now Oldham 2, Warrington 12. Mackie, charged down though by Mike Ford, kicked back by Roscoe and retrieved by Malloy. You could have got 50-1 against an Oldham success in this competition before round 1. I wonder what the odds are now. And on the subject of odds, Warrington were 33-1 for the championship pre-season. League leaders, unbeaten. Poor ball for Rocky Turner. Joe Rapani, though, will straighten it all up. Quick play the ball. Well, they try the quick play the ball, maybe too quick. You see Mike Gregory just checking with the referee. The Rugby League are doing their best to cut down on back chat at the moment, but the nominated captain of each side is always allowed to go and question the decision with the referee in the politest possible way. And Mike Gregory's asking again. And somebody who shouldn't have been speaking has spoken. And Warrington are 10 yards closer to the Oldham line. And this indiscipline will get them a real roasting from Tony Barrow, their coach, at half-time. You can be sure of that.
It's good to see Mr. Tennant do that. I think there's just a little bit of too much of that stuff at times, with players putting too much pressure on the referee with asking questions. I think they're better off to shut up and find out for themselves on Tuesday night when they have a team meeting with their coach.
I was privileged to sit in on a Tony Barrow half-time team talk at Runcorn last weekend, where Oldham won quite comfortably without playing particularly well, and he wasn't best pleased. They were tossing the ball around a little bit, and his first words were, if you want to be the Harlem Globetrotters, go through that door and get off to America. Turner, dead eye. 14-2. Mike Gregory, the captain, will be pleased with the start that his team has made. So still a lot of work for Oldham to do. It's back to 2 clear scores. Warrington may just have come through a bad patch. Here's Burke again. He won't lose it. There's a profile of a strong northern man. As honest as he's powerful. Gregory. Ryan again. That was a kick under pressure and it wasn't as good. Duncan Platt. Stevie Robinson. Cogger. Too many times the Oldham player who receives the ball doesn't know where he's going. Fieldhouse. Away. Ford. Now there's a little chink. Great tackle. Greg Mackey. Clark. Bob. Difficult one. Bob Jackson says mine. Bob Jackson corrects. He delivers this fella.
He's got 2 ones on his back there. He could have, well, have just had the one. He took it like a classic fullback's catch.
Desi Drummond epitomised the Warrington effort during the semi-final on Tuesday when, with the game won, he ran 20 yards to make a cracking tackle on Kurt Sorensen, who had rampaged through 3 challenges. And there's nobody in rugby league I'd less like to tackle than Kurt Sorensen, and Drummond got across and got him. Mackey. Platt. Good chase by Malloy. By Roskell, I should say. Sean Allen. Cogger. Got to get with him. Ford. Nothing doing there. Ruane. Fieldhouse. Thank you very much. Clark did well actually, Fieldhouse. Platt. Now he's straightened it and found some space. He's got his winger with him. He might not need him. Richard Irving could get in, has got in. Try for Oldham, and Richard Irving has got them back into the match. Oh, that's an important score. Young Richard Irving, who only got his chance this season because of the injury to John Henderson, has come up with a vital try for Oldham.
Irving finishes off what was a great break by Oldham with sheer strength and determination. Greg Mackey's not too happy about this try. He's questioned the decision with the touch judge and the referee, but the touch judge again has given the decision there that he actually got the ball down.
Young lad from Huddersfield who's really grown up in the last few months.
Here's some what looked like disorganised play to start off with, but a great ball by Clark puts that loping style of Platt into the clear. A classic fullback's tackle where both of them were injured, actually. You can see Lyon can't get to his feet. Rapati's slow to come back. Drummond's not strong enough to hold the determined Irving. He's in again.
There's Duncan Platt. It was a perfectly fair tackle by Lyon, but it was a shuddering one, and look at the right ankle, that's what's causing the pain. John Watkins there, the sponge man, and Alan Burnell, the physio. Let's see that tackle again.
There's a lovely ball. Really drew in his opponent. He's got a very lazy style, but he's quick. And it was a classic tackle.
It was the way the right ankle twisted at the impact of the tackle. Lyon took it on the head, but Platt's taken it on the ankle, and he's going to depart on a stretcher. Well, he had to come out of the semi-final at half-time because of a knee problem, Duncan Platt. But this is a terrible blow. Great appreciation, not only from the Oldham fans, but from the Warrington faithful too. David Lyon's also gone off. He got a bang on the head there in the tackle. So the two substitutes are waiting for the kick here from Gary Hyde, who with Platt off will have to take over the goal-kicking responsibilities again. We all know what happened last time he did that. He kicked the semi-final winner. He's done it again. Super sub. Gary Hyde.
That's the sort of stuff that will rejuvenate and really put Oldham on a high now. Not so long to half-time, and Oldham now are really within distance. If they can come up with some good plays before half-time, they'll go in confident.
Well, after 10 minutes, I thought, how many is this going to be for Warrington? Now there's just one score in it. Paul Derbyshire's on at fullback for David Lyon for Warrington, and Hyde has moved to fullback for Oldham, and Richard Russell has come on in the centre. There's Derbyshire, young Barlow captain. And here's Gary Hyde, who's now playing at fullback for Oldham. Well, that foot in the face. I don't think Tony Barrow's half-time team talk will be quite as bad now. Fieldhouse forward. It's been a terrific comeback by Oldham. Andy Ruane, not a super kick. Real skill about rugby league kicking. Too many times rugby union matches are reduced to fullbacks booming it down the field from their own 25. Field kicking of the very highest order in this game. Desi Drummond. Gregory. Malloy. Good tackle low down by Leo Casey. Sanderson stopped by Irving and Ruane. Turner kicking under pressure. It's long, too long.
That's the difference in pressurising the kicker.
Heads down, look in. Greg Mackey penalised.
Mackie's a bit like the rest of us. He still can't believe English scrums.
Now, if Oldham could just somehow conjure up another score in the closing couple of minutes of this first half, what a final we'd have. And it's not beyond them. Forward, Fieldhouse, trying to get it off to Brett Clark. He has done. Elusive running, good tackle by Mackie again. He's still going. Mike Ford, chance for Keith Newton, a chance for Sean Allen, couldn't gather it. Ford still, Robinson in the corner, yes! Steve Robinson completes the comeback. What spirit Oldham have shown!
Here's a set piece, the inside pass of Fieldhouse, who stood in the tackle. Question here might be, when is a tackle a tackle? Was that player, was his progress stopped? In any case, the ball wasn't stopped. The referee played on, and again, unloading the ball in tackles. And at last, Oldham are quicker to the ball than Warrington. Ford feeds it on, and another try in the corner. Can Hyde do it again from the touchline?
This was the Warrington view, and they just had to keep tackling here, and a couple of times they must have felt that the Oldham move had broken down.
There's the set piece from Ford to Fieldhouse. The Warrington defence, one of the few times in the game they've been able to haven't put the ball on the ground. Mackie reads it for mine. That's a tackle.
Well, it was allowed to continue. The try hasn't been improved, incidentally, but it was a try.
And in rugby league, you learn to play the whistle. Despite whatever I say or what Warrington might have felt, the referee played on, and Warrington was smart enough, Oldham was smart enough to take advantage of that.
So Gary Hyde wide of the mark with a conversion attempt. And it's Oldham 12, Warrington 14. Gary Hyde. One of Arthur's army, Yorkshire Minor, Maggie, and all that. Leo Casey. Ruane kicking again. Too long that time. Andy Ruane in the scrum cap. You may remember we saw his brother David playing for Lee the day after his wedding last Saturday on Rugby League Live. Mackie got away with that. Poor ball from Gregory. Turner had no chance. Warrington have lost that early discipline. Oldham have rattled them. Right forward. Clark again. He's got that extra yard of pace, which makes a number 6 a great stand half. Well, it's been a rousing first half. It looked like Warrington's, they raced into a 12-0 lead, but how Oldham have come back to give us a half-time scoreline of Oldham 12, Warrington 14. Hurry back.
Welcome back. Warrington leading Oldham by 14 points to 12 in a dramatic Lancashire Cup final. The pick of the first half moments beginning with Warrington's second try from Mark Forster. The analysis is from Brian Smith.
Feature of Warrington's early play was the precision of their play. The passing, the support was all spot on. It was a real hallmark of their early play was that precision in their play. That slowly slipped away in the game, and once they started to lose and commit some errors and lose the ball, we then saw the better side of Oldham. Here we saw an incident where we believe a penalty try could have been awarded, or even a try was, we believe that the Oldham player was actually the first one to that ball. Nevertheless, Oldham were not put off by this, and when they started to control possession a little better themselves, we found them finding some holes in the Warrington defence, keeping the ball alive, and eventually Clark found Duncan Platt in a hole. That cruising style of his, great tackle, but it wasn't finished yet. Richard Irving spots a hole on the short side, and the determination of the man. Whoa, did he get the ball down? Warrington say no. Mike Gregory pleads no.
Stuff. Well, the National Director of Rugby League coaching, Phil Lauder, has been monitoring that first half. Phil, what have you got for us?
Well, a superb game and an intriguing tactical battle. Certainly, individually, all the players are giving the 100% that the coaches have asked for, as can be seen by the possession analysis, with only 6 errors in a very hard competitive game. Warrington had the lion's share of possession in the first quarter, and they converted this to points, but towards this half-time, Oldham control the ball well, and they've hit back, as can be seen in the time and possession. Warrington and Oldham, 7-6 bus. It couldn't be any closer, and these have been converted to points. Gregory, Rapati and Andy Platt of Oldham have made the most number of breaks, and the top tacklers again, Ruane, Fieldhouse and Casey from Oldham. I think the team that controls the ball the best in the second half is going to win this game, but certainly a superb first half.
Thanks very much, Phil. Warrington leading by 14 points to 12 in this first half in the Lancashire Cup final. The second half is live after this break.
Rugby League live from St Helens, the Lancashire Cup final in the balance. Warrington having established an early 12-point lead, pegged back to 14-12 by Oldham, who will restart the game. A meeting of 2 of the top-rated defences in the league. Warrington had conceded only 9 tries in their first 8 games prior to today. Indeed, only Bradford and Hull have previously crossed their line twice. And Oldham in red, in beating 3 First Division teams in this competition, had conceded only 4 tries. 2 apiece already. And Brian Smith, is defence the key now to the outcome of the Cup?
Yes, I think it is. I think that Warrington really need to tidy up around the rucks. They need to stop Cogger, who runs from acting half, to get them going forward. But I'm not convinced about Oldham's defence yet either. I don't think they go forward enough. I think they've got some lazy people amongst them.
I was talking to the Wigan coach John Money in the week, and he was very, very impressed by the way that both Cogger and Ruane, the hooker, ran the ball from acting halfback. Gave Wigan a lot of problems there during the semi-final, and they've done that well again today. There's Ruane. Big Leo Casey. John Fieldhouse. Back for the kick from Richard Russell. Oof, what a beauty. Mackie, Turner, looking for a little move with Mark Forster, but he couldn't unload it, and when he did, it fell rather kindly for Mike Gregory. Sanderson. Steve Malloy. Fire and brimstone. Offside against Oldham. Got to retire 10 metres. 5 metres, I beg your pardon. It was about 3 that time.
Oh, I don't think Mike Gregory's got a decision to make here. I think he should kick for goal.
That's what Robbie Turner's going to do. He gave the referee a nasty look there, didn't he? Had a bad time against Hull last Sunday, Rocky Turner. He's shown a lot of maturity to come back.
Yeah, he's a young player who I certainly think can make the grade. He's done particularly well in games I've seen. Last weekend against Hull, he was a little upset perhaps by a change of position. He was forced to go to fullback after Lyon was replaced injured, and I thought he was perhaps not quite in his best. He looks more comfortable at number 6 to me.
Not long enough. Steve Robinson will run it out. Tackled by Roskell. Casey. Drives a JCB, does Leo Casey, during the week. Runs like one on Saturdays. John Fieldhouse. Here's Cogger. 5 tackles. Warrington have got a little bit of their steel back in defence.
5 great tackles there. 5 great tackles.
Clark eventually. Mark Forster. Good tackle though by Steve Robinson. It's been a great start to the season by Warrington, but they made an even better start 2 years ago, winning all of their first 8 games, and it was a run that ended here in the Lancashire Cup final, defeat by Wigan that day. And a season which ended with no trophies. It can happen. Russell collects. They got Russell at full-back in the second half with Hyde back in the centre. Richard Irving the other centre. Ruane. Ford. Casey. Five tackles. Brett Clark, what's he doing? Turnover, didn't realise. Des Drummond. Mackie. Malloy, Drummond, he's as quick as a hiccup. Five tackles. Turner, Gregory, Rapati, they're going for it. Jackson outside, came inside, Clark knocked it down. Back to one. Mike Gregory, great burst. Leads by example. Tony Burke. Warrington started the second half as they started the first. Mackie, Turner, Derbyshire in the line, Tony Thornley, Ruane got him low down. Mackie again, Malloy maybe, oh he's coughed it up. And Oldham have it back. But the two number 13s, the two captains, Mike Gregory and John Cogger, have set magnificent examples to their side today. There's Cogger again. Phil Larder, what can you tell us about the two skippers?
Well, the work rate of both of these two guys has been tremendous, both on defence and offence, and they're a great inspiration to their teams.
Bob Jackson thought he was in, but it's a scrum. What? Where? Who, me? Warrington's ball. Turner fed it, Mackie drew wide. Ropati, Paul Derbyshire. Mackie. Big test of the Oldham cover this. Roscoe trying his luck. Barged by Fieldhouse. Play on, says the referee. Well, time and time again, for my money, kickers are impeded in those positions. And it seems to me, Brian, the referee always seems to give the defence the benefit of the doubt.
I'm not sure if I agree with you on this occasion, Clive. The defenders don't have to disappear. They don't have to jump out of their road. They're entitled to hold their ground.
Here's Clark. It's a bit competitive, isn't it?
My word, there's some great tackling here by Warrington. Pressure's really on Oldham.
Drummond, nice footwork. More nice footwork. And more. Good tackle by Cogger. Look at him. Oh, he's been penalised.
I think Desi Drummond might have milked the penalty out of Mr. Tennant there, although Cogger was doing his best to slow the ball down, that's for sure.
He was really fired up for the semi-final meeting with O'Fire. But he's fired up every week, Des Drummond. And Rocky Turner has another penalty chance. That's long enough this time, but he's dragged it. Still Oldham 12, Warrington 14. Disappointment for Robert Turner. Warrington have got a bit of a problem with Greg Mackey at the moment, actually. He's carrying an injury. Not sure how long he's going to continue. It's Derbyshire, the substitute they've already used. Mark Forster coming in off the wing. Burke. Malloy. Broke Allen's tackle. Needed 3 to get him down.
Front row is really doing their job there. Nothing fancy, just driving forward to give their teammates room to put these sorts of plays on.
Ropati, Gregory, Oldham cover stretched, Gary Sanderson. Big tackle. Mackey. Now who does that belong to? Belongs to Paul Lord. Here's Leo Casey. Cogger. Not a good pick. Turner playing the scrum half because Mackey's far from fit. A lot of concern on the Warrington bench. Mackey's coming in now to the scrum half position. He's just having a word actually with the assistant physio, Billy Cowell. Here's his opposite number, Mike Ford. Here's Richard Russell. Good player to be coming off the substitutes bench of a second division team, isn't he, Russell? Casey. Now is this Oldham's big moment? Ford. Irving. Great cover again. Cogger going blind, but not clear. 5 tackles. Ruane. Turnover.
Warrington really was stretched there, but it brought out the very best of their defence, and I think those stats we saw on Mike Gregory before and his work rate.
Oh, but here's a great chance. Gary Hyde almost in. Couldn't believe his luck. Mike Ford. Next try could be decisive. John Fieldhouse kept it alive. Sean Allen, high tackle. All part and parcel of this cup final though. Ruane, Clark, Newton maybe. It's all on this. Ruane, Brett Clark knocked out of his hands. Fieldhouse, still a chance for Paul Lord in the corner. That's the 5th tackle. Mike Ford's kick. He's not Ford, I think. No, it's a turnover. Warrington have it back.
Yeah, knock forward on the 5th tackle there is an automatic turnover. As I said before, Warrington's defence is really being stretched, and it was stretched again for another set of 6. But it's the hallmark of a very good team that can withstand that sort of pressure. Now they need no error and a great kick to get to the other end.
Particularly in a week when they've already taken on Hull and Widnes in 2 really testing games. Great reserves of character and energy that Warrington is showing. A match they seem to have won after 10 minutes when they led by 12 points to 0. But look how Oldham are getting back at them. Mackey. Oh, and Russell lost it in the sun, I think. It'll run dead. Let's have Phil Larder's assessment of Andy Ruane's contribution.
Andy Ruane, the Oldham hooker, is having an absolutely superb game, giving a good service from Acton halfback, but he's already made a staggering number of 34 tackles.
Fieldhouse has lost it. Rocky Turner. Another very costly error by Oldham. Mike Gregory. Oh, and Newton just got back there. Ball still loose. Casey. They've got to hang on, these Oldham prop forwards. Can't give up the ball on the first, second tackle. Not against Warrington. Fieldhouse. Guilty last time. Watertight this. Mike Ford. Nice hands from Ford. 5 tackles though. Still in their own 25. Fancy that, did he? Gary Hyde. Here's Paul Derbyshire. Greg Mackey. He's fit enough now, doesn't he? Mark Forster. Malloy. Turner. Gregory. Always likely for something to happen off him, although Thornley had no chance there. Five tackles. Greg Mackey. Little kick charged down by Newton.
The referee there's deemed it's not a charge down, that the ball was kicked into the defender.
Difficult one to call, of course. The rules say quite clearly that the ball must be touched by an opponent for it to go back to one, but touched intentionally, not a ricochet or a rebound. An intentional charge down is a touch, and the tackle count will go back to one, but that was unintentional. Leo Casey. They're really slugging it out in the trenches today. The defences are so good. Brett Clark. It's one thing having pace, it's another thing finding the room to exploit it. The field seems to have been struck by these two defences. John Fieldhouse, Clark. Determined play by Sean Allen. Sanderson and Burt making sure. Ford. Woods. Right down the throat of Mark Forster. He spat it out first time and then swallowed it. He's kept it in. Mackey. Good play. Mark Roskell. Paul Derbyshire full of life. Gregory again. Roskell. Jackson. Bit of Crocodile Dundee about Bob Jackson, isn't there? He's a... Oh, what a run! Look at this fella go! Bob Jackson and Crocodile Dundee scored! What a character, what a player, what a try! What a smile! Bob Jackson comes up with a try to break the deadlock in this competitive second half. Something out of nothing. 25 tackles, 16 drives, and now one try. What a worker.
You see the value of a quick play the ball. Jackson gets to his feet before the defence can. And look at this man push out of the blocks. That's acceleration from a number 11. And look out, fullback.
He was doubtful for this game with a bruised shoulder. Watch how he uses that shoulder.
I think Richard Russell's the one with the bruised shoulder here. Nothing was going to stop Bob Jackson. Get out of my way.
Oh, what a beauty from Robert Turner. And there are 8 points in it again. So Warrington have the initiative again. And Oldham bring on John Farmer Fairbank. Halifax farmer, one of 5 rugby league playing brothers. They all work on the farm. And I tell you, this fella knows all about hard work. He's as tough as they come. Off goes Leo Casey. Oldham 12, Warrington 20. Now come Oldham come back again. The Lancashire Cup has been won by a second division side. Barrow upset Widnes 6 years ago. Oldham only the 4th club from Division 2 to reach the final. That's been an achievement, but they set their sights even higher than that today. And they've got within 2 points of Warrington, but now they've been forced back again. Is that a smile from Tony Burke? Malloy. into the last quarter. But Oldham have got to run it 75 yards from here and then to get back into the game. Rugby League, live from St Helens. Lancashire Cup final. Still in the balance. And that balance just beginning to tilt Warrington's way again. Cogger will inspire them, that's for sure. John Fieldhouse. Oops. John Fairbanks scoops it up. Oh, thought he was strong, didn't I? That's a lovely kick again by Rouet. And a real feature of his play today. We've seen his tackle count, his kicking's been outstanding too. Runs a damp coursing business with his brother. It's one of the amazing features of this game. Whatever happens, come 20 to 5, he's back to work on Monday. Des Drummond. Tony Burke. Greg Mackey, Mike Gregory. Warrington's control of the ball will be all important now. Here's Mackey kicking. Richard Russell. Mackey's there again, leading the chase. Kicking, probing, tackling. There's nothing he can't do.
He's a tough kid too. He's battled his way back from what looked like a real troublesome ankle halfway through this game. He's still in the business though.
Well, he's had to fight back this year because he had some bad luck in Australia too. He was actually sacked by his club Illawarra Steelers when they signed Andy Gregory. And Greg Mackey and Mike Ford, the two scrum halves, have been two of the outstanding figures. Phil Lardo, any figures on Mike Ford here and his opposite number, Greg Mackey?
Yeah, both these guys are having outstanding games. I feel that if one person can break the deadlock in the Warrington defence, it's Mike Ford, who's been really working hard both with the ball and, as you can see from the sheet, defensively as well.
There is Ford. But Warrington have it back with Steve Malloy. Burke again. Gregory. The steps off his foot and finds half a yard of space. If you support him, something will happen. Mackey kicking. Bounce dead.
I think with that amount of time, Mackey would have hoped for a better kick than that. Wanting the ball to stop dead in goal with a good chase would have been the perfect kick.
Ronnie Duane preparing to come on. Gary Sanderson's the man he'll replace. Duane, well, if anybody's fought back from injuries, this is the man. They picked up a fearful one in the first match of the Great Britain Tour in '84. But Gary Sanderson's done his stint, Brian.
Yeah, he certainly hasn't been replaced because he's played poorly. That might be a little early mark from Brian Johnson to say, good job, well done.
You put your feet up, let the rest do some work. Brett Clark doing some work in the Oldham course. Here's Farmer Fairbank. Dad played the game too. Mike Ford, good break, needs support. Well, Alan was there, but he probably did best to hang on. Fieldhouse. Russell. Space for Richard Russell. Great tackle by Mackey again. Sweeping up behind his line of tacklers. John Cogger. Mike Ford.
Oldham are really probing for that little hole back through to play the ball.
5 tackles though. Clark to kick. Good chase now. Can he get him back behind his own line? Not quite.
Great catch under pressure there from young Derbyshire. Real cool nerves, that, really cool.
Look how Desi Drummond just steals 10 yards there at a crucial area of the field. Ronnie Duane, first touch for him. Malloy. I was talking to Kevin Tamington, the new Salford coach, about Steve Malloy, who he had when he was the Warrington A-team coach. Felt he'd been very badly coached in the last couple of years. But really improving now. That's a useful kick. Awkward one for Russell.
And equally well done by Richard Russell. That's always awkward, coming forward to meet defence and the ball at the same time.
Oh, Ford's made a break. Ford's clear. Fieldhouse. Just 11 minutes remaining. It's Oldham 12, Warrington 20. Oldham in possession with John Cogger. Fieldhouse. Fairbank. 5 tackles though. Ford looking for something blind. He might have found something blind. Gary Hyde, collected by Bob Jackson. Sorry, Mike Gregory. Here is Jackson. Not sure if it's Crocodile Dundee or Ned Kelly. That back won't bother him too much, I don't think. Ronnie Duane. Into the last 10 minutes now. Rocky Turner kicking Oldham back into their own half. Steve Robinson running lively. Malloy with a bear hug. All very friendly. Richard Russell. Mike Ford. Going to have to take some chances now, Oldham. Cogger. Ford. Fairbank.
Here's Ford at acting half again.
Russell.
It's Ford and Cogger that are really milking that through the middle.
6th tackle again though. Ford. Now what will come of that? It's anybody's. Hyde had it for a second. Offside.
Tough decision for a captain to make here with just 10 minutes to go in the game. He needs the 2 points, but then again he needs a try.
They're going for the 6. Fairbank. Broke Jackson's tackle, but not the 3 that followed. Clark. Ford. Not quite for Keith Newton. Great position though. Got to get a try. Ford. Russell. Great ball. Keith Newton. Oh, just held. They've got a man over blind. Ford. He's got the winger in. Yes. Poor Lord for Oldham. They're back in business. They've come back again. And this is not a second division team. They certainly don't play like one.
Mike Ford showed lovely hands here. Ruane read it right from acting half. Under pressure, lovely ball. Desi Drummond a little caught out there.
And Paul Lord was in.
Here you see Ruane's lovely hands off the ground. Ford's nicely timed pass, and winger finding Drummond too far, too short.
Now this kick's almost as important as the one that Gary Hyde had in the semi-final. If he can get Oldham back within 2 points, they're in with a real shout. Oh, he's pushed it. Well, he's not the specialist kicker. Duncan Platt, who was injured at the end of the first half, is. But they're still in with a chance. They need a try. It's Oldham 16, Warrington 20. 4 points in it. 6 minutes to go.
Well collected too by Lord. Fieldhouse. Ruane. Fairbank. Clark. Half a break. Thought he had some freedom for a second. Door slammed in his face. He's here again. Ball on the floor. Who's got it? Not forward. Some tired bodies out there. They're playing on adrenaline now. Mackie. Warrington have possession, and if they can keep it, that will be enough. Look at the tackling. Duane, Turner, Mackie. Gregory almost in, they've got it back, Andy Ruane knocked it down, and knocked it forward.
Correct ruling from Mr. Tennant, he saw it right that time, that's for sure.
Pick scrum, Warrington won it. Mackie will hold on. Four and a half minutes to go. Warrington with the ball and the 4-point advantage. The Lancashire Cup final on the line. Malloy. He's done that all afternoon. Turner. Rupati. Support from Thornley. Great tackle by Stevie Robinson. Duane. Now it's the 5th tackle. One point Mackie will look for, no. Gregory. Drummond, they could get everything. It's Bob Jackson, it's been his match, it's Warrington's Cup. Jacko makes it certain. And that's what it means to them. He's the man of the match for me, Bob Jackson.
Even the scoreboard attendant got it right, Clive. It's flashing on the electronic scoreboard. Try, and that's what he's got, a double of tries. But how on earth did Jackson get on the wing? How does Drummond find a player on his outside? And a player who can run like this. And again, it's determination. No way anyone was going to stop that.
It's Australia Day at St Helens. Bob Jackson, the man from down under, has come up with a try to make the Lancashire Cup Warringtons again.
Yes, sir. Turner's kick wide. Oldham 16, Warrington 24. Bob Jackson is the man of the match. He's won the award. A great day for him, a great day for Warrington. There's not a more popular player. Look at that, 30 tackles and 2 tries.
I think Brian Johnson should take some credit for Bobby Jackson's performance today. I think he picked it right by playing Malloy and Burke in the front row. Jackson's very mobile, not quite as bulky and strong, perhaps, and big as the others, but he enjoys that little bit extra room to move and without the pressure of the driving tackles. He's had a great game, Jackson, a great game. Good selection, Jono.
Follows some great names too. Mick Adams, a man of the match in this cup final. Mal Meninga, Steve Ella, 2 great Australians. Sean Edwards has won it. Last year it went to an Australian, where he Salford halfback Paul Shaw, and this year it's gone to an Australian, Bob Jackson. And the 3-year wait for Warrington is almost over. Last won this trophy in 1982 when Ken Kelly was the captain. Beat St Helens that day with a young Mike Gregory and John Fieldhouse in their back row. Been a difficult baptism as coach for Brian Johnson. So close to Wembley last season in his first season, but so close to relegation too for a spell. But the wait for silverware is almost over. Deep inside the final minute, and Warrington lead by 24 points to 16.
Warrington have had that 3rd try scored against them, which they haven't done in any other game this season. But their defence is what's won this.
It's Warrington's Lancashire Cup. I will be back in just a moment to see them get it. The Lancashire Cup has blue ribbons on it. Warrington have won it. And Mike Gregory, the Warrington captain, the Great Britain captain-elect, is the man who will receive it and end a 3-year wait for the Wires fans. Great moment for Gregory. Our most committed player receives the trophy from the managing director of Grunhalla Lager, Paul Clubb. It's Warrington's day. Will it be their season, I wonder? Silverware looks even better when you've waited for it. Tony Barrow was the Warrington coach the last time that they were triumphant in the Premiership 3 years ago. Barrow now the beaten coach with Oldham. But he said prior to this game, if they couldn't win it, there's nobody he would more like to see lift the trophy than Warrington. David Lyon wearing the scars of war. Bob Jackson, the man of the match, has his hands on it. Rocky Turner, Greg Mackey's got the base. Tony Burke, who put in so much toil. Each player picks up a medal from Brian Prescott, the president of the Lancashire County Rugby League. And it's worth considering at this point that the last 6 teams to win the Lancashire Cup have gone on to win another trophy that season. Brian Smith, are Warrington going to win more this season?
They're going to take some stopping, aren't they? They've certainly shown today that they've got some spirit, and they're showing there at the moment that they've got plenty of support.
We've got a Warrington conga forming. And now Oldham go up. That's very brave runners-up. They've made Warrington win this 3 times today. Twice they've come back. But each time Warrington have had a reply. Some amazing work gone in. Look at Andy Ruane's tackle count, 51.
Yeah, that just goes to show how well-deserved this victory is for Warrington, because Oldham have really worked themselves to a standstill. Some top tackles there, some great tackle counts. They've worked very hard, but in the end it was a well-deserved victory for Warrington. They started off the game at breakneck pace. As you say, Oldham came back into it, but I felt, as I said, a well-deserved victory for Warrington.
These are the pictures which will grace the back pages of tomorrow morning's newspapers. Warrington's 9th Lancashire Cup final success. Only Wigan and St Helens have won more.
Well, how do you follow that